Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Super cool. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where is everyone? Okay, there you are. So Zoom's funny like that. It starts listing the attendance, right? Like 10, 15, 20, 23, 27, 30, like, but they don't show me the names right away. So it's like, okay, where is everyone? But everyone is here. Ian, good morning, good morning, good morning to everyone. All right, super cool. All right, what do we have today? First, let me do chapstick, but I want to do it off camera. So I watch these videos after I post them whenever I have time. And the videos where I put chapstick on, it's just one of those weird things, right? Like there's certain things you should just not do on camera. Like for instance, like eat an icicle, right? Like suck an icicle, like you wouldn't do it. Chapstick, you just shouldn't do it on camera. Blowing your nose, like there's just weird things that you shouldn't do. And I found that chapstick is one of them because when I see myself doing it, it's like, oh, because I'm also then looking at the camera to see like what I look like. Okay, so that's enough of my silliness for the day. So what you would have seen yesterday, which by the way, I saw Father Christmas. Oh my God, yes, Frida. Oh, by the way, welcome back. I saw that you were in the hospital, and I just wanted to check in on you. But I saw that you had posted that a couple of days ago, so I felt silly. But I then remembered you're with us every day, so it's getting good news after being fearful that there might be not good news, right? Yeah. So I'm actually going to get to that. So yesterday, I spent. I didn't really want to spend the whole day doing it, but it just kind of got away, right? In the sense that everything we do is so thoughtful, but also so comprehensive. And because this money raise, our final round of money raising, is so important, it's it then it then behooves us to go ahead and respectfully approach it. And I remember, so to give you a kind of like a at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, I showed my wife the Santa Claus video, right? So we have a TV in the living room, and it's a smart TV, so you could click YouTube. And of course, we both subscribe to Rhino, so I was able to show it to her. And I thought it was so fantastic. Like I hadn't watched it yet, because the thing is, when you generate the video, it then becomes animated. You can't have it animated before you generate it because it's an expensive service, and they just don't let you do that because then you could kind of screen record and kind of be a yucky person. So I listened to it in entirety, but I was unable to see it. So I was able to hear it and say, okay, I gotta change this, edit this, whatever. And I'll get to the beginning of it. But the points being at the end, where I was watching the video with my wife for the first time, I was like, oh my God, how cool is this? And I was, and like she says, Anthony, you think everything you do is great, which isn't a dig as much as it is confirmation bias. Like I think everyone does that. Like I would not do something if I did not think I was doing it great. Whether it's great or not, it's a different story, but I firmly believe it's great in me doing it. So I'm watching it and I'm like laughing and I'm loving it. And again, it's taking a trip down memory lane because every component of it was weaved together. And she's like, Aunt, this is just, or no, babe, this is just really long. And I said to her, I go, yeah, I know, but this isn't for marketing. Like this isn't to go ahead and convince someone to join Rhino Hub. This is to our investor base that when you ask someone for a final round of fundraising, which is like 5 rounds after 5 years, you owe them an explanation, right? No individual that has money because they give it away freely. They're not charities, right? Like, yes, I have money, and I'm not speaking about me because I have no money, I have Rhino. But if I did have money, yes, I have money, Anthony. That doesn't mean you're going to get it. I have money for good opportunities. If you can let me know that this is a good opportunity, while respecting the fact that this is the 5th time you're raising money, well, then we can talk. So, because it was our last time, I really want to give the whole Rhino story. I want to give the narrative of how we started and what each program, why we got into it, whether the program was successful or not, and why we moved on from it. Kind of like in resume fashion. Like when you have a resume, your employer wants to know where'd you work, why'd you work there, and why'd you leave. And all those are really, really important. It's like when you're dating someone. Um, why'd you get with your last boyfriend? What did you like about him? And why did you break up? If you could tell me those three things honestly, I know everything about you. I don't need to know anything else. Oh, he was my neighbor and my parents recommended him. They loved him so much. We stayed together because my father really liked him. But after 3 years, I realized, I'm living my own life and, I can't seek my father's approval. All right, if I know just that, what do I know about you? What do I know about your decision making in the future? What do I know about the way you grew up in the past? What can I extrapolate? And again, I come from a behavioral science background, so maybe, Anthony sounds a little like too extra right now, but that's just the way I am. So I want to give that same respect with the video. And the video goes ahead and touches before COVID even hit, right? Like um, our first foray into anything, like actually the original investors that got into RHINO, I sent them all a prospectus. And the prospectus was, I want to start a Facebook marketing group. I'm just going to do free content and teach everyone for free. And I believe in the ability to teach those that otherwise don't know what this is, but to lead them into a skill set that they then ultimately find to be super valuable, puts us in an authoritative position and puts us in a position where we can make ethical suggestions about products and things that are going to allow us to make money and grow, because we could be first with it. Now, that's not to say we're going to be the first ones to ever teach Facebook, but in 2018, 2019, yeah, it was popular. But there was still a real world. There were people that worked in offices. This is before COVID, and that's where we were. Then COVID happened, and the entire internet got inundated with everyone being pushed onto it. Everyone was a guru. And unfortunately, in sales, the dishonest person always wins in the beginning, in lieu of regulation that protects consumers. And the internet's a wild west. There is no internet police that are going to make sure that all the bad actors don't, take clients. And we were never going to compete dishonestly. So again, it's in my purview. Well, Anthony, you need to make a decision. Do you want to continue this line of work or do you want to pivot? And ultimately, I think it's very easy to tell a story in hindsight, and everyone just agrees that that was the obvious thing to do. But I also think it is worth noting that when you start a business and you collect investor funds and you're successful for a month or two, and then something happens, you now have to make a decision. Is what happened, um, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but is it a challenge or is it a dead end, right? Existential, that's what I was looking for. Is it an existential crisis, an existential event, or is it just a challenge? Existential event meaning it changed everything, right? Like you wanted to be a track star, but you lost your legs. That's existential. You can no longer do it. And in doing so, you have to be right. Because then when you pivot, yes, your investors will allow it, right? Okay, Ann, we're trusting you. But then the next thing you do is unsuccessful, and it was very clear to see that the thing that you left would have been successful. Well, now the challenge is your investors look at you and say, oh, you're one of those. So every time something's a challenge, you just leave and try to do something else. Well, I don't want to be a part of that. So that's a real big risk, because not only do you have to be correct, but you have to be correct about something that is unique to your ability to see what's about to happen. There is no fortune teller. You can't say, okay, well, I saw the future and I know it's going to happen. No, you actually have to instinctually have that in you. And the thing about RHINO is we've done this on occasion after occasion after occasion. So one could say, well, you guys just change every day. You change your business model every day. Or someone could say, wow, you guys actually are able to evolve. Now, one of those is a really bad business model. One is a really good business model. It's almost like when President Trump was running for his 2016 presidential election. He went through 3 different campaign managers. He had the gentleman, Corey Lewandowski, who was just the only person that believed in him, right? Like when Trump was running for president, no one believed in him. He needed somebody that knew something. So he got Corey Lewandowski. Then when he started winning a couple of primaries, he looked at the polls and realized that the other side was hitting him on women. He doesn't respect women and whatever, right? And we're not here to say we agree or disagree. We're just sharing facts. So he went ahead and hired, I forget her name, Crowell, whatever, the girl. And she went, oh, no, I'm so sorry. When he was winning the primaries, he brought in The gentleman, I forgot his name, but whatever. So he brought him in because he had a history and an experience of going through the campaign cycle, the primary cycle. So he went from Lewandowski, who just knew enough to get him in the door, and then left him to go ahead and select someone that knew the next steps. And then when it got towards the end and it got towards, just two people, Hillary and Trump, well, I believe in him. It didn't count for much, but he did great. And yeah. So then when it was him and Hillary's going to be the first woman president ever, she was obviously playing the woman card. And in fact, there's a higher, the voting population is more women than men. I think it's like 50.7%, right? So she already had an embedded, hey, I'm a woman. Do you like women? You want to see the first woman? Let's do it. So he needed a woman that could go ahead and navigate him through that. And that's when he got a lady. And I forgot her name. But one could look at him, and I remember during this election cycle, the many pundits that were against him or didn't think he was going to win, or didn't think high of him, were like, look at him, he can't make a decision. He goes through one, and he goes through three campaign managers. No one likes him. Look at him. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, I just don't think that's the case. I think he's smart enough to know that the most difficult thing is not in hiring someone, it's in firing someone. And people don't understand that. When you hire someone, that's the easy part. You're giving someone money. You're their best friend. They like you. They, suck up to you. They think your jokes are funny. Firing someone is far more difficult. And most people think, oh, you just go fire them. No, they have livelihoods. They have things. They know things about you. They could, if they're disgruntled, what are they going to do? Firing is not a good thing. So to have the courage to go ahead and say, I believe that for me to get to the next step, I need to make this decision, which was a decision that's not going to be an easy decision. It's going to be a decision that most people are going to think that wasn't a good decision, but it was a decision that he had so much confidence and believed in that was going to get him where he needed to go. He inevitably looked at himself, banked on himself, because he said, I'm doing something no one's ever done, so by default, I have to follow my heart, and it led him to victory. In that same fashion, that's how RHINOs always went from business to business to business, in the sense that, when COVID happened, we had to pivot and we went to bank funding, right? Small business funding. COVID happened, and it's, your company's only going to be down for 2 weeks, and we did well. And then the government came in with payment protection programs and enhanced unemployment and put us out of business really quickly. So we had to pivot again. And not to get into every single pivot, you could obviously read the letter or watch the video. The point was that in each individual event, you can see why we chose to get into what we were doing, why we were successful while doing it, yet why we moved on from it. And in many cases, it wasn't that we were forced to move on. It was the fact that, wow, this is successful, but this isn't what we want. We want something bigger. So let's bank on ourselves and go for something bigger. And each one of those events led us to where we are today. And if you're able to read the letter or at least watch the video and really understand, and again, this isn't for everyone. Everyone's not going to see what we're talking about. It's only there are those that are able to see, and then there's those that are unable to see. And that's not to say that those that are unable to see are any less whatever. No, in fact, they might be right. There's no guarantee in what's going to happen. So maybe that those that are unable to see are like, Ant, I just don't think that's the case. Hence, I'm unable to see it. So they could be right or wrong. I have no idea. We won't know until we get there. But it's my belief that those that are able to see can very clearly draw a line from this led to this, led to this, led to this, led to this. And the culmination of events actually lead to RHINO Hub. Now, the pattern would suggest that there'll be something after RHINO Hub, because every which way we thought we were getting into something good and then found that there was something better. But then you have to ask yourself, well, if everything is progressively larger, what's larger than RHINO Hub? What can be? Think about all the services that are a part of it. Think about what you're touching base on: education, opportunity, and support system. You have the cryptocurrency RHINO Bucks in it. You have RHINO Wealth in it. You have all the programs that we have embedded in it. It's like, I asked my wife yesterday, she goes, I don't think I understand RHINO Hub though. Like, what is it? I go, if you got a scholarship to college, would you still buy the books that you need for class? She goes, yeah, of course. I go, would you eat on campus? She goes, yeah, of course. I go, that's RHINO Hub. She goes, I don't get it. I go, well, not everyone's meant to see it. But the point being, if you can go ahead and provide an entire scholarship to someone at a time that it's most valuable, most pressing, most needed, you're able to read the environment and you're able to deliver it and go ahead and do job placement where you walk them through the steps to actually attain that position, and you do it all for free, well, you're giving someone a free scholarship. And in that scholarship, as a professor, hey guys, if you want to go ahead and continue this curriculum, I do suggest that you purchase this program. It's only $5 a week. I think it makes sense. You don't have to, but this will help you in attaining what you're looking to do. I think 100 out of 100 times that person says, yeah, of course, duh, $5 a week, and I'm going to get like a $100,000 job. Why wouldn't I? And I think that we could go ahead and average that each individual person that gets into Rhino Hub will be worth $25 a week in perpetuity. That's the actual metrics behind it. That's what we're projecting. And if you believe Rhino Hub is a great value proposition where you're just, and again, I think you guys also need to understand something. I'm putting in the work, right? Like I'm going to be teaching all these programs. I'm gonna be live for 2, 3, 4 hours. I'm gonna be so accessible. Like there's a lot that I'm gonna have to do. My wife's like, Aunt, like you have time to do that. I go, no, I don't. But it's not because I'm adding this to my schedule. I'm substituting my schedule. Everything that I've been doing leading to this has been done. Now I have a clean plate and I do this going forward. So I'll be able to do it. But she obviously is like, it's a lot. Like I'm getting a headache just listening to you. And I go, well, imagine being in my head. But I do believe that by doing everything that we're doing and providing what we're going to provide and having the proof of concept that we're going to be able to get these individuals, strangers, to the application process and the hiring process, whether they get the job or not, it's a different story. But if we're able to get somebody to the certification level, then to the application level, then to the hiring process level, that's a huge accomplishment. This individual is already, achieved so much. Now, what's also, and my wife said this, she goes, well, hey, what about if they don't get the job? Like, what if someone doesn't have a college degree, or what if someone has a felony? You can't guarantee this stuff. I go, no, I can't. She goes, well, doesn't that hurt you? I go, no. I go, these skills are not unique to these companies. These companies are pioneering building a talent pool, but that's because they want the talent. And they want the talent because it's in such high demand. And if something's in such high demand, then the person that has the talent can do anything they want with it. Yeah, Microsoft won't hire me because I have a felony, because I, sold crack cocaine when I was 14 or something, but I could start my own agency, right? Like, couldn't I start my own agency and say, these are the services I'm offering? Couldn't I go to job boards and see individual companies saying, hey, we're looking for this, we're looking for this? Or couldn't I put something up and say, hey, I'm offering this for this much? And yeah, well, then you understand. And if that's the case, by definition of something being in such high demand, well, then you can go ahead and do the postings or reply to other people's posts and go ahead and receive the job. In fact, working as an agency is probably be really the optimal outcome, because you could set your rates, you could set your hours, you could set who you work with, how long you work with them. And if you can go ahead and learn one skill that is in high demand and go ahead and set agency pricing for that one skill, who's better than you? You can now move on from being a grocer to making $165 an hour doing Salesforce engineering, right? Like that's what we're doing. The point being, I believe very strongly that we'll be able to do this. My wife was like, Aunt, shouldn't you say it's a 90-day process? I go, 90 days? What are you, out of your mind? She goes, yeah, but you're teaching someone that doesn't know something into knowing something. And I said, I'm doing it in 14 days. And I go, if I'm wrong, and maybe it's 21 days or 28 days, I'll deal with that. But 90 days is completely off the table. She goes, yeah, but Aunt, like, and this is what's so great about her. She's a real person from the real world. She's a nurse. Like, she's the top level person you could want in your life, like so loving that she makes a career of helping and healing, right? And it is that person that has a very different mindset than my mindset. Not that I'm not a loving person, but we just think about business differently. So having these conversations is actually quite helpful. And she goes, yeah, but how are you going to teach someone like that? And from my perspective, when I hear that I can't do something, that's where I start. That's not, oh, it can't be done, let's move on. It's like, oh, it can't be done, watch this. Like, we could figure it out. And I said to her, it just came to me in that moment. I was like, well, I have a whole bunch of AI stuff. I could go ahead and take an entire course of content, upload it, and then say, rewrite this in the style of a Johnny Cash song that is 4 minutes long, designed to be a memory mnemonic that if I listen to it 100 times, I'll remember all the content. I could take that, then put a voiceover on it, then put the background music of a Johnny Cash song, and I can make someone an entire album. And she goes, you would do that? Like, how are you going to do that? I go, I just thought of it the second. This is how we're thinking. And she goes, well, that sounds amazing. I go, yeah, RHINO Education. Look, new program we just made. The point being, there's a whole way of learning. I said, well, I made a really husband and wife comparison analogy to her. I said, if a gentleman wanted to learn how to do ABC, he would probably remember if a live teacher taught him than reading it in a book, and you can fill in the blanks from there. And she goes, yeah, I get that. I go, well, everyone has different learning styles. And if we could go ahead and take a learning style that is already known to be proof, mnemonics, songs, like Sesame Street was built on this stuff, then why can't we do that for other people? We now have the technology that I could say, go ahead and take this content, write me a poem in the fashion of Shakespeare. And the person who likes poetry can go ahead and learn the content. I said to her, we're going to make people learn this content and we're going to liberate them. The point being that if we're able to do that, and these individuals see that RHINO was a part of their life in a very strong way, would they then want to go ahead and be a business owner of a passive income stream by accepting an agency offer and then accepting all of our marketing technique to go ahead and make a passive income, right? Because we're cloning the membership into an agency and anyone could go ahead and take it and use it as their own. And aren't we going to be marketing for us? Why not give them the marketing as well? They grow their platform, we grow our platform, everyone grows their platform, everyone's making passive income every single week because they're using me to go ahead and do all the content, which I am doing. And guess what? Now everyone's in RHINO Bucks. Now everyone's in RHINO Well. Everyone's in these products that are all built like an airplane. The pilot is going to fly it the correct way, no matter what, regardless of how many people are on the plane. So it would behoove us to fill the plane with as many people as possible because I'm going to be flying it the same exact way. It's not like, oh, there's only one person in it, so I'm going to take today off. No, what am I going to do? Let the plane crash because there's one person in it? Remember, I'm the pilot. I'm going to crash and die too, so that's not an option. How many emails am I going to get today? So I think maybe the emails are reminding me to go. So, I want to put something in the chat. I'm giving the book a call link. I think 11 people booked a call. We have over 400 different RHINO RHINO Bucks holders and RHINO equity investors, all of which are getting emails and texts from me. I'm going to start that today, but not too aggressively because I hate that I have so much stuff still to do. So if you could just book the call, it would be really helpful. But everyone that has any skin in the game, we're piecing this together and you're going to get a call from me because the fact that we're right there at the last step, as unpopular as it is to have to call and say, hey, listen, come on, nudge, nudge, nudge. I don't have an ego, right? Like RHINO doesn't have an ego. It's funny, whenever I do the bump up Thursdays or Fridays or Saturdays, I always get an email from someone, and you sound desperate, please stop. And I said to them, every week, there's about 5 or 6 people that say yes. So am I supposed to look cool and sacrifice the numbers? Like, no. People's memory is very, very short. In fact, memory, I don't even think is a real thing. I don't think history is a real thing. You and I could watch the same event and then a year from now talk about it and we'd have completely different stories. So if I need to email Brian or Eve or Frida or Ralph and say, hey, listen, you haven't upgraded your plan in like 17 weeks. Am I doing something wrong? I really need you to do this. And they say no. Okay, cool. Do they not like me? No, they're like, all right, Ant did his job. He does this on behalf of RHINO. But maybe they go ahead and say, you know what, Ant, you're right. I do appreciate your perseverance and I will do it. I have no ego. I hope they go and talk to their family afterwards and say, yeah, he just keeps emailing me. And somebody smart in their family will say, that's persistence because it's not going in his pocket. It's going in the investment that he's leading for everyone. So that's my piece. Ralph, I do see you're there. I didn't check my emails yet. I know we're going to have a call sometime this week. I don't think I saw you book it. So if you can, please. Otherwise, if there's an email, I'm going to go through my emails now. Everyone else, I totally love you. Today's going to be a busy day. I do want to get the affiliate platform going again. I got to finish, so the lander for RHINO Hub was, I don't want to say it's thrown together, but it's a total 1.0. I want to have more calls to action in it. I want it to be more exciting. So when I do that, then I'm going to put it on the affiliate platform and let everyone market it as well. I think I still have to send comp for this week's affiliates. You would never think that I'm up at like 3 in the morning. Like, I sent that email out yesterday by, what was it, like 7 p.m. I finally got it done because then I had to do the whole. Okay, now I'm just whining. I love you. I will talk to every single one of you. Frida, you're the best. You're welcome. My pleasure. And everyone, I book a call, please, and let me do it one more time so you know that I'm serious. All right, I love you. Bye.